Hello, everyone. Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomenon number 40, Cursed Waters. Um, let's see, I titled it Cursed Water. It's Saturday, April 16th, 2022. What's up, everybody? Bet Mom was worried about me? Well, yeah, I'm alive. I just haven't felt like doing anything. um, but committed to this schedule, so I'm going to do it. Here I am. But the random lives, no, they're not any particular time. So I know Mr. Lee was asking about them. He wants me to do more live streams. Cindy, welcome. Angel, Ernie, welcome y'all. Scotty, welcome. Ryan and Chewy, how's it going? Let's see. I think I got everybody in the chat. Oh, maybe not. We got AOTRO Cryptids. Says it's Easter Sunday here in the Southern Hemisphere. So happy Cosmic Semitic Zombie Day. Yeah. I hear you, man. It's, obviously it's 6 p.m. In my time zone on Saturday. I don't have any plans on doing anything for that particular holiday. Doesn't sound like you are either. Down there in New Zealand. Yeah, the symptoms that were alarming me have gone. Oh, there's Donald Fuller. How's it going, man? Cross the ditch. Yep. Okay, so icons here. Welcome. Says Alito Achaeos. Howdy, chat. Listening in while finishing supper and have to get back to work. Cool, man. Gotta keep plowing or mowing or whatever you plan on doing. So water comes up a lot. Because it ties into everything. It's important to the paranormal subject as well. Well, in many ways. I mean, into everyday life. People have no idea because maybe they saw some weird documentary on water and they just they didn't pay much attention to it or whatever. People should pay more attention to it because water is not a simple thing at all. And lots of science has shown this. Science that just straight up seems paranormal, and so a lot of mainstream scientists are reject it. They don't want to hear it. They're like, oh, there's got to be some other explanation for it. But it's not that it's woo. It's not that it's supernatural. Depending on how you determine supernatural. Just if you determine it as something we don't understand scientifically, sure. Um, but water has memory. Water does have memory. You can program water, and you can use water to, man. Look, it's way beyond what most people have any idea of. Like, so I'm listening to my chainsaw sing the song of its people. Yeah, Donald's laughing because he requested that Homer segment, that Homer video. He said uh, it represents him somehow. So this is why, like, holy water, like, if you truly believe, and you don't even really have to truly believe, it'll still work. That you're priest, and you're blessing this water, and you truly believe it's going to do something good for people, then it should. Just like with prayer and stuff, it's the same thing. It should. It's and it's not to me, again, it's a scientific thing. It's energy, it's frequencies, and information is transmitted in the ether and into water. Water acts as an antenna. That special angle in the molecule acts as an antenna to consciousness. So it allows you to. You have to be able to connect to the physical body as a being what you are. And defining what you are is kind of weird too. It's like, some of y'all want to call it a soul or a spirit, or just a collection of frequencies bouncing around the damn universe is what you are. A lot of frequencies. Some probably beyond what humans will ever be able to detect. This is why when people do 5-MeO DMT and they completely lose their individuality, they're gone. They come back, they can't understand what they experience. It's because 5-MeO DMT basically takes down the biochemical walls that isolate you as an individual from the rest of the whole damn universe. So it's an overwhelming experience. You can't come back in a human body and really understand it when the walls go back up. You're this little thing, and that's infinitely big. You can't do it. Hello, Scotty. Donald saying hi to everybody. Does it work out all right? I mean, cutting wood. So yeah, I mean, so holy water should have some effect. How much effect it has, it's, man, there needs to be a lot more science. Like, there really does, because I would think that even though you may put information into some water, over time it should dissipate, I would think. I would also think if it's exposed to, well, I know that if it's exposed to a strong enough magnetic field, it will be dissipated. And also, I think a lot of heat might, like boiling the water might dissipate the information. that's one. That's again. There, I have a whole massive list of different experiments I would love to work on. It's just like I need a full lab and a lot of equipment and stuff to do it all. But one of them would involve um, determining if boiling of water destroys the memory in the water. So, yeah. And people are like, probably a lot of you are still like, what the hell? There's no, how's there, water remember shit? Water remember shit. This is scientifically proven goddamn fact. Um, Water has memory. It just does. And it's an antenna for consciousness. It helps you to be connected to the consciousness of the universe, which is just signals. It's just signals in the ether. That's all it is. Icon says, my body loves it for the most part. My back is saying F you, dude. So there's a spring. There's been a lot of claims about the spring. Like there's the six it's they call it like they tried to claim there was different metals in each of the 6 springs in this spring, but naturally someone who was a real scientist tested it and found no significant differences. Chessboard's here, welcome. What's up, man? So anyway, yeah, I really don't care what Ripley's Believe It or Not called it. 8th wonder of the world, whatever. So this spring is believed to have healing powers by the Abenaki Indians, and it's called Brunswick Springs. And like I said, they're mentioning here about the different metals and sulfur, calcium, magnesium, arsenic. That wasn't found to be true with actual testing. Anyway, so they kept. Well, let's go back to why there's a curse. Because it was a healing spring originally. So this is the story of it right here. When they lived near the springs, they relied on its healing powers. There was a soldier that was wounded during the French and Indian War, and they brought him there. And I guess they believe that he was healed there. So he decided to come back and bottle the water. And of course, the Abenaki Indians didn't like that. And so I don't know again how much this is true. This is the story they're telling. There was a struggle over the issue. An Abenaki man and baby were killed, and the child's mother, a sorceress, according to this, is said to have cursed the springs. And it quotes, I guess, this is Brendan Whitaker, a town official. He said Indians said anyone who tried to profit from the spring would fail. So, anyway, so they kept trying to put this hotel here. There was a number of fires. Some they could explain. I think they thought they had explained one of them. But they kept trying to put this. Kept trying to put this hotel here, and it just wasn't working. They were bringing water into the hotel from the spring, and in the end, the Abenaki bought the land, and they will not allow any development there. Supposedly there was like a car crash near there that some people think might be connected to the curse. Some dude hung himself by the lake there. I don't know. But what I'm saying is the science supports that there may be some limited possibility of curses actually being able to work on water to some degree, especially if everyone knows about it and believes it. There's some degree of they're going to make it happen. Um, so, like it says here, people live near the springs still believe there's a strange feeling to the place. It says this: two men hanged themselves. One woman drove her car into the lake and drowned. Kettle says her brother found a man's body in a tree when he was hunting for partridge in the area. As a small child, he sneaked down to see it. It made him sick. He had hanged himself overlooking the lake. Here's where they're, iron, calcium, magnesium. They're trying to say that they're these different metal, but see, again, the testing didn't show that. That's just some weird thing that somebody came up with, probably. It's just hard to sort out what's. Well, that's one thing you can probably sort out as being just, you can just assume that's not true. I mean, why would it be like that? Don't make any sense. But as for the curse, who knows? Now, I would say that it's not a good idea to place a curse like that, though, because things tend to come back on you. Negative things tend to come back on you. But let's see here. So what's this guy say? He says, I've been drinking the water since 1945. When I got out of the Army, I went to work for the railroad and hurt my back. Went to doctors, chiropractors, tried anything you think of, but believes it was the water that eventually healed him. Who knows? Claims of the healing. Looks like it looked a lot nicer back in the day. But yeah. There shouldn't be any more problems, though, because they won't let anyone build there anymore, and they won't let anyone try to profit from the spring anymore. So that's one example of a potentially cursed place, cursed water. Axe, things are on your end. Chessport saying hi to everybody. Scotty says, not bad, mate. Love my new job. Glad to have a day off, though. Donald says, I've heard of this spring, but I've never been to it. Not sure exactly where it's at. They used to say Highgate Springs had healing powers. It never helped me. Well, who knows? I mean, sometimes it could be bullshit, but I think there's room for it. Like you should be able to put your own intentions into the water. Emoto's experiment showed that. All you have to do is put a word on a piece of paper and tape it to the container, and it will place that intention into the water. So if you write healing on a piece of paper, stick it to the container, it'll place that 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 quality into the water. You know how powerful that is going to just heal everything on contact? No, but I mean it will help. It should help. Of course, he was just showing crystal structure, but still, things get weirder though with the water. Greetings, Danny. What's up? Listening in. Grasshopper says, "Never know. Minerals have weird effects depending on what the water goes through." Welcome to the chat, Grasshopper. Oh, I haven't been to the doctor yet. Chessboard. It may take a bit for me to get in there. I'm feeling better than I was. So what I think was causing it, I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure, but it could just be anxiety's worse or getting worse or something. I don't know, man. So this is a little. I don't know how much. Well, man, we might be able to. I don't know how much we can watch of this. Lake Lanier. If I can get it to play.
Since the lake was formed in the 1950s to supply more water and hydroelectric energy to Atlanta, there have been 500 boating or drowning deaths, hundreds of rescues, and 27 bodies that have never been recovered. What could possibly be so dangerous about this lake? Are there hidden hazards, or are more sinister forces at play? Welcome to Intrigued Mind, and join us today as we run through the strange and haunted history of Lake Lanier. For a lake with such a terrifying, mysterious reputation, the origins of the place are equally eerie. The reservoir was first constructed in 1956 when the Army Corps of Engineers completed the Beaufort Dam on the Chattahoochee River. The intention of the lake was to manage navigation and flood control of the river. Furthermore, Lanier would supply hydroelectricity and water to the growing city of Atlanta, located just 60 miles away. But the construction of Lake Lanier was plagued by problems and dark omens from the very beginning. There was a great deal of controversy, debate, and disagreement regarding virtually every aspect of Beaufort Dam's construction. Its creators could not decide its purpose, its location, nor even its name. In fact, the lake was already in construction when the title Lake Lanier was finally chosen. Before construction even began, the U.S. government purchased more than 50,000 acres of farmland. The very first piece of land to be sold, Shadburn's Ferry, was let go by 81-year-old Henry Shadburn in 1948. The 100-acre farm was sold for $4,100. That is about $45,000 in today's money. During the 5 years it took for the lake to fill to its intended water level, the U.S. government ultimately displaced more than 250 families and 15 businesses. Not only were the living forced to relocate, but the dead, too. Over 20 cemeteries were shifted during the process, along with every single corpse they contained. Once the residents were cleared, the buildings, roads, businesses, and gardens which they once called home were flooded in their entirety. Many claim that these communities still exist completely, lying in wait on the bottom of the lake. Today, the lake is an essential part of life for the people of North Georgia. It is some 26 miles long and covers almost 47 miles of original riverbed. The lake's proximity to Atlanta, as well as its location bordering 5 of Georgia's counties, means that Lanier is a popular recreation spot. It is estimated that more than 7 million people visit the lake each year for a variety of activities, including swimming, fishing, boating, and many more. The problem: Lanier was never intended to be a recreational spot. Under the surface of Lanier is one of the most dangerous underwater habitats in the U.S. After years of accidents, wreckages, homes, anchor lines, lawn chairs, and even large parts of a forest spot the floor of the lake. And that's not even considering the entire towns and villages locals claim were sacrificed to building. In recent years, the water level in Lake Lanier has been consistently dropping. As it does, officials can see more and more of the hazards which lurk just below the surface. The lower water level offers its own problems, though. In some areas, they are so low that travel by boat is no longer possible. Within even 20 feet of shore, the underwater hazards are exceptionally unpredictable. In some
Yeah, there was all kinds of problems with that. Moving graves, that's always going to be, it always has the potential for problems. Damming a river itself is an offense. So that, I would think that there would be some level of problematic energy in any dammed up lake. So, but yeah, there's some just regular mundane shit going on here too. Like forcing people to move and all that stuff. Picking the email was hilarious and true. We'll check out the link when I'm done running. I was always talking about chessboard. Sanders here. Welcome. Guess says I've been to Lake Lanier when I lived in Atlanta. Don't remember much. Was drunk most of the time. Oh, dang. You might be lucky the lake didn't claim you. Scotty says we have Paradise Dam here in Queensland, Australia. They flooded an entire town. It's all submerged. Yeah. They've done that in all kinds of lakes. Like lake I used to live by, they the old town, they had to move the town. Everybody, they just flooded the town. Well, I think a couple towns are under that lake. And who knows how many dead bodies, graves. But it's an offense against nature. It's your that water, it flows through there for a reason. And I suspect that every time they put a dam in a river, it creates some negative energies. And it's in the water. And it will not be a fully positively charged water until the dam is removed. And even then, it's going to be pissed off for a while, basically. So, I don't know. There's a lot of deaths on that one, though. But, I know some of this, because, I'm always jumping on people with the woo, and some of this stuff sounds like woo, but it's not. It really isn't. There's plenty of scientists out there who have studied this stuff, and it's just I think that there are people in power who don't want us to know this, all the properties of the water, what its true importance is. I mean, yeah, you can hydrate yourself with water, but it's way beyond that, and I think they don't want people to know.
I hope to show people through my research that water has a memory of its own. Dr. Emoto's laboratory does research on water samples, which are subjected to various forms of outside influence. The impressions made upon the water are recorded by swiftly freezing it in a cryogenic chamber. This is what water heated in a microwave oven looks like. This is the effect of a mobile telephone. Somebody said thank you to this water. Excuse me. You disgust me. In all of the world's religions, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, it is the practice to recite a prayer before taking food or to consecrate the food during major religious holidays. How often do we stop and think, what for? And how did the certainty arise in such dissimilar religions that this is the right thing to do? Why did something that science is only now trying to understand seem obvious to our ancestors? It turns out that the frequency of vibrations in the prayers of any religion, uttered in any language, is 8 hertz, which corresponds to the frequency of the oscillations of the Earth's magnetic field. Therefore, a prayer, pronounced with love, creates a harmonic structure in water, which is an ingredient of absolutely all food. In 1995, Dr. Masaru Emoto was the first one to record musical impressions on water. In Dr. Emoto's laboratory, they presented water with different types of music, after which they froze the water and then under the microscope could clearly see the crystals that the water had formed. Here is what the music of Bach looks like. Mozart. Beethoven. Heavy rock. Dr. Masaru Emoto, world-renowned water researcher, messenger of peace, and author of many books, including the New York Times bestsellers, Hidden Recently, The Water Effect of Words, Music, and Thought on Water. Destructive Thoughts.
Let's see. Got some more here. Maybe this one.
Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France. This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He played.
So there was these other guys. I mean, Emoto's not the only one to experiment with it. This stuff here is pretty crazy. We'll watch a little segment of this, I guess. See, Joe's here. Welcome. Says sentient water. Yeah, sorta. This guy says there was a study on a lake in America a few years ago. The water changed its property and got excited when children entered the lake. I wish I knew the name of the doco. Yeah. Positive energy in the water. The water takes it in. So I was wondering what Metallica's water looked like. Yeah, you saw it. Apparently, water doesn't like hard rock music. Who would have known? Joe says, if water is sentient, Scotty, I can understand that because kids pee in the pool. So what this one here, so what they did was they had some water that had DNA from an AIDS infected patient, I guess, and they did a technique that they use a technique to separate the water from all the DNA. So all the DNA is gone, but the water that they had what had been in contact with that DNA. And so what they found was that they could measure signals, electromagnetic signals in that water, difference from other water that they had picked up from that DNA. So, and they were able to pick it out at least part of the time. Like there would be some residual signal in the water after the DNA was removed. Then they took that signal, they transmitted that to a labs in like another country. I think it was in a totally different country. They transmit to that lab, and then they exposed a sample of clean water there. But I guess it had the constituent parts of DNA, so it could build the DNA. It had what it needed to build DNA, but it did not have DNA in it. Expose the water to the signal, and the water reconstructed the DNA almost perfectly. Well, with the telomerase, it was able to instruct. It had the instructions on how to build that DNA in that water. That's pretty freaking amazing, right? Selaway, thanks for coming, Ernie. Happy to see you in chat. Says Joe. Says we're so Lockbeard, the dam on the Yangtze displaced millions and ruined their way of life. That was there for thousands of years. Yeah. Probably. Who knows what that contributes to the way of life in the area. Even years later. So, like, you saw that the one scientist there in the video talking about treating people with signals in water. So, it constructed DNA. The enormity of this discovery is just probably lost to most people. You figure out what signal to put in the water, and as long as it's got the constituent components needed to produce whatever you need it to produce, it can probably create it. Like any kind of drug or DNA molecules or whatever you need. It's crazy. That dirty quantum physics word. Which means this guy's about to go off and get on the wrong tangent. Sure is a wonderful conductor. Unless it's pure. Pure water's not a conductor. It has to have ions in it. to be a conductor. That's the funny thing. Like, people think of water as conducting electricity. Really, it isn't the water. It's the what's dissolved in the water. Yeah, that was an episode of The Next Generation, was it? I think it was in Next Generation when they were dealing with some microbes. Was it the ones that were in the sand? It was ones that were, they were going to terraform that planet, and to terraform the planet, they were going to have to destroy those microbes. So the scientists were trying to keep it secret that those microbes are there, but it turned out they were intelligent. So that was interesting. So there's been some shuffling around of the Bigfoot shows I've seen. Squatch Talk is no longer going to be on Tuesday nights. Mogs has moved an hour earlier, and you're moving your Friday an hour earlier on, or your Friday show an hour earlier. Your bi-weekly Friday show an hour earlier. Am I getting that right? You guys are gonna make me have to go update the TV guide. So I don't know. I don't know. How do you use this information about water to benefit you directly now? Yes, an hour earlier. Jen's here. Welcome. What's up? Well, it's just like with the magnetism thing. Icon, if he's still here, I mean, we've talked about the magnetism thing because Icon's actually done that with seeds. And, but I think everyone that does, if you're going to go ahead and do that, if you're going to grow, if you're going to grow a garden anyway, do the magnetic seed exposure and keep your seeds separate. Like, have a sample of seeds that did not get exposed and a sample of seeds that did, or maybe even do 3 different samples. So I don't know what you're planting. Whatever you're planting, it has to be something you could easily see. How about carrots? A lot of people broadcast seed that. Anyway, let's say you're doing that. So you make 3 rows. You got 3 packets of seeds. Expose 1 packet to the North Pole. Expose another packet to the South Pole. Put them in and then 1 packet don't expose at all. Plant your 3 rows. You'll see. And then when it comes, just harvest those 3 rows at once and just leave them laying there on a row so you can just look at them all next to each other to prove it to yourself. And then you can tell other people. But anyway, you could do something similar with water, I think. Maybe do the positive intention experiment of some kind. Maybe you buy, I don't know, say you go and you bought 2 house plants, identical house plants. Water one, I don't know what you water with, but maybe water one out of a jug that has a piece of paper taped to it that says whatever intention you want for the plant. Flourish, whatever, and then water the other one with a tampered with water and see what happens. It's not a very big and well controlled experiment, but maybe you can start proving it to yourself that you can affect the frequencies and the information in the water. Cindy says water was used to make mills run, and seems it was just force of water. Yep. So who else coming here? Emma. Welcome, Emma. Chessboard says, Lockbeard speaking about water. Many folks do not realize many disposed drugs diluted in water is not filtered out. Yeah, you're talking about the low concentrations of pharmaceuticals being found in everyone's drinking water because everyone takes these drugs, they piss it out, ends up in the toilet, ends up at the wastewater treatment plant. Treatment does not remove it, the drug, so they end up in the waters, dumped in rivers and lakes and stuff like that. And then your town pulls its drinking water, in a lot of cases, out of those same lakes and rivers. They treat it to be, potable water, except their treatment at that level still does not remove the pharmaceuticals. So everyone's getting low doses of all kinds of drugs, mood stabilizers. I mean, they found, hormones, caffeine. It's all in there. Just really low doses, but still, do you really want that? Cindy says that's true. Chessboard, when my late ex died, the hospice nurse took me and what drugs of his was left to the bathroom, and she counted them all. And she counted, and then all of it was flushed. Yeah, they used to recommend that you flush any unused drugs, but you absolutely should not do that. Nowadays, you can find proper disposal options for proper disposal of pharmaceuticals. We need to try and get away from a lot of those drugs. You need to figure out, but again, it's a whole nother different conspiracy, right? How they're keeping us sick. Looks like these artificial sweeteners. I think I was getting a little bit I was getting some reaction from aspartame. Well, aspartame is in a lot of things that are zero sugar as an artificial sweetener, and yet it has a long ass list of negative side effects. So even though it may not have been the only cause, it could have contributed. So I stopped taking those things, stopped using those things. But the government approves these things. They'll approve that. They'll let the doctors, prescribe, highly addictive painkillers. But then, half the states in the United States have made kratom illegal, which will kill your pain. It'll help you get unaddicted off the painkillers the doctors gave you, and it's completely non-addictive. Oh no, that's got to be illegal, right? That's what our ridiculous government thinks. So we know what it's really about. It's really about profit. That's what it is. Keep everybody sick. Spend decades of your life paying for pharmaceuticals, medical procedures. Joe says, if you go by some people's thinking, the entire planet, everything on it is one entire living organism. I don't know if that's true, but don't entirely find that implausible. Well, or maybe there's some common thought processes amongst it. Well, again, the entire universe arises out of the ether. All the signals, all the frequencies, all the vibrations, all the energy is just the ether just doing its thing. Which, mainstream science is trying like hell not to. That's a dirty word to them, right? They don't want to talk about the ether. They don't want to admit that they have overlooked that entire the very canvas upon which the universe is painted. They come up with bullshit like space time, quantum foam, dark matter, dark energy, all this ridiculous bullshit that's just flirting with the reality because they're getting, again, their observations. They keep getting observations that they can't really explain really well with their current models. And so, I mean, so really, all those things, 0.0 point energy, all those things are really them trying like hell not to say the word ether, AETHER, because then they got to admit that they've been wrong about a bunch of shit. Who was it that I think Tesla said that these mathematicians they'll just equation after equation, and they just wander off and never get anywhere. They have never achieved grand unification, and that's for a reason. It's because they're wrong. Quantum physics is flat the fuck wrong. Lots of perfectly good observations, but very incorrect interpretations. And I think a degree of it has to do with the government don't want us to know certain things. Getting to the UFOs and stuff like that. How do those function? Because according to their laws of physics, that shit should not happen. What we observe UFOs doing, that shit should not happen. So they're gonna have to bend over backwards and fire up the particle collider. We gotta come up with a new particle to explain this shit. Except there isn't a new particle to explain this shit. All you need to do, all you really need to do, you need to go over to Ken Wheeler has written all this up. He's done his books, he's done articles, and he's got like 6,000 videos on his YouTube channel where he has explained all this shit just fine. There's other people out there explaining bits and pieces of it. A lot of his information comes from the ancients, directly from ancient text that weren't being properly translated. But he's a language guy. He knows many languages, and he properly, has been able to properly translate some stuff that other people couldn't. And he's looking at the right scientists, Tesla and Heaviside and Steinmetz and all the right, not fucking Einstein. Einstein's all Einstein did was really steal really good. He stole other people's shit. He was no fucking genius. Oh, so why are they pushing him? Why are they pushing Einstein? Everyone's, yes, people. You're gonna find more people on the street to know the name Einstein than Tesla. The only reason they know Tesla now is because Elon Musk named his company that. So they're trying to hide these things. They don't want us to know the true properties of water and how much we could do to really change the world to be more beneficial to us for our health. And they don't want us to know about the ether. They don't want us to know that they've built this whole narrative, this quantum physics narrative, it's way off track. Cindy Fence says, chessboard, we don't count bad grammar spelling here, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with taxes. Joe says there may be something to that, Lockbeard. Any government knows it's easier to control ignorant masses than educated ones. Yeah. And so I don't know. There seemed like one of your shows here recently, some of this science stuff came up, and I was like, damn, I can't say much. You can say there's only so much in chat. But if you want to know how the universe, okay, I think it was the spirits thing, right? Because you don't believe there's an afterlife at all. I used to didn't, but unfortunately, there's some inconvenient stuff in the field theory. There's observations. There's people that they've seen these things. Some measurable results, like the temperature changes, which I was wondering. Well, I didn't really understand why would there be a temperature change. I mean, obviously, you're interacting with a disembodied spirit, for lack of a better word, spirit. I don't know what else to call, because that's what we call these things. I'd like for there to be a term that was more scientifically oriented, that didn't sound ridiculous. But anyway, field theory. I mean, Ken Wheeler did address the cold thing when they measure, cold region when a spirit's passing through. It's like, not. He says it's a cathode anode situation because one will heat up and one will cool down. I forget what they call the phenomena, but I mean it's a known thing with cathodes and anodes. One heats up, one cools down. Apparently, it's the same thing with moonlight. Why moonlight cools things. I need to do I'd really like to do that because every time I see people do moonlight measurement, temperature measurements online, it's never very good. They're just shooting a laser, thermometer. They're just shooting a beam on stuff, and that's just not precise enough for me. So I'm gonna do one at some point when the weather's cooperating, and because a lot of people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? Moonlight makes things colder, because everyone says, oh, it's radiative, it's just radiating. But anyway, he said Ken says it happens because of it's a cathode anode. It cools because of that, the same mechanism. Just where it says, Joe, it's scientifically proven that plants, trees, and living organisms have feelings, so to speak, and crystals forming by playing different types of music to them. Yeah, that was I don't know if other types of crystal. I mean, I assume that vibrations will affect them, like the crystal growth, like the water crystal growth. It may just be, it may be it's just a mechanical effect. It may not be anything too crazy, but to just place a piece of paper on the outside of the container that the water is in, that's when shit starts getting really weird. Cindy says, Joe, I've learned so much more now in my golden years than all the history books in school. Maybe the fluoride isn't making people docile anymore, and federally passing pot to make everyone too messed up or docile to care what government does. Yeah, someone brought that up the other day. Maybe that is what's going on. Jen says temperature changes do happen in haunted places. I felt it myself. Yeah, I mean, if you felt it yourself, like, I don't know, like, somebody needs, like, because Joe, as far as I know, Joe's still non-believer in spirits, and so somebody needs to prove it to him, somehow. I don't know how, because even cold regions may not convince him that it's a ghost. He might think it's just a draft, So somehow you're going to be able to prove that it's caused by a spirit. I've been saying that for years. You felt cold spots too. See, if I ever have, I probably didn't think anything of it. Like, I wasn't looking for it. Like, I've been to lots of old places and graveyards and all kinds of shit, and I'd almost bet I did encounter him, but I just wasn't paying it no mind. Where'd she have it happen? One of the so-called great congressmen said, now we can collect taxes on pot and its derivatives. Well, of course they're going to collect taxes on it. Of course they are. Mr. Lee's here. Welcome. What's up, Mr. Lee? Joe says, as to part of the earlier comment, I find that treating my conditions with pot has actually made me think more about stuff. Yeah. Somebody was saying I should, a number of people have tried to tell me that, if I got anxiety, apparently CBD oil will help. I guess we'll see. I did get some, so we'll see. Trying to clean up the diet a little better. Just been eating too much junk. Mr. Lee, 3PO over here would be appalled. Cindy Fan says, just recently a neighbor in the apartment next door died, and I have felt cold spots and seen something out of the side of my eyes. Directed at Cindy. Stupid fingers. Jen says, yes, Cindy. For whatever reason, most people see things in their peripheral vision. Well, your direct vision there's different concentrations of whatever what do they call them in there. You see differently in your peripheral than you do straightforward. Your body, your eyes are focusing on different aspects of what you are seeing. So you'll catch movement. It helped you, Sandra? Mr. Lee says, I ate a giant Easter egg and passed out. I have not had sugar for over 3 weeks. Very weird. You ate a giant Easter egg? Like a chocolate egg? Cindy says, well, Joe, we just there were no limitations that they have. So personally, I'm checking with my doctor to try CBD oil so I can get off opiates. Well, I guess you don't need to go to the doctor. It sounds like. I wasn't sure about that, but anyway, um, they have it down here at the dang convenience store. You can buy it as long as you're over 18. So you got to be able to just go buy it and try it. Oh, and Jen, that apartment is at least in 6 years I've lived here has had 2 people die. Yeah, you may not want to live in that. You may not want people living in that apartment anymore. Might have to retire it or have someone go in there and try to clean it out. Jen says, make sure you give it time, Lockbeard. The broad, I'm assuming you mean broad there, broad spectrum CBD oil I use can notice quickly. The full spectrum CBD takes more time in the system. All right. And May Reed Hesketh is here. Welcome. Yeah. So I don't know what this stuff is. I mean, how do you know it's broad spectrum or what'd you say it broad spectrum or full spectrum? Yeah, it doesn't even say that. Oh no, it does. Yes, it does. It says full spectrum. Does that officially mean something? Sandy Van says, I'm going through an integrated holistic clinic my neurosurgeon offered. He says, it was very hot today also. Yeah, but what kind of egg did you eat? Like, was it chocolate? You talking about a chocolate egg? Because you said a giant Easter egg. Joe says, as for believing in stuff like spirits, I don't require proof of it. Really, bottom line is I won't know if I'm wrong until I'm dead. Yeah, but what if you could know before you're dead? So you kind of can be prepared. Say, look, this is what's going to fucking happen to me. You know, which I think probably your best bet to understand what it'll be like is to take 5-MeO DMT. From what I understand. 5-MeO DMT, which is the stuff in the frog venom, the toad venom, that people, they do not lick. A lot of people still think they lick the toad. They do not lick the toad. They smoke it or inject it. Anyway, completely dissolves your individuality and your ego. So that should be experiencing what you will experience when your body dies. So you'll know everything. You'll know everything in the universe, in effect. But whether you can process it, because when you come back from 5-MeO DMT, you're like, I don't even know what the fuck just happened. You might come back with some bits and pieces of information that might be useful, but you're not going to be able to. You cannot. It's not remotely humanly possible to wrap your mind around what you and truly understand what you experience. again, I haven't done this myself. Just, I've read off and on about hallucinogens for 25 years. It's just a subject of interest to me. It seems, and I'm convinced it's a way, because your brain is not the origin of your signal, right? Your signal is everywhere in the universe, really. Your brain is like a radio. It picks up the signal, it tunes the signal. And when you take mushrooms, ayahuasca, other forms of DMT, acid, uh, um, all these things, it's like you're fiddling with the dial on your radio. And you're picking up more signals than you're normally supposed to. And anyway, I personally, like, I wasn't expecting that, because as an atheist, I was like, whatever, um, I just wasn't open to, I was just thinking, spirits was just people spooking themselves, maybe some hoaxers out there, but there were just things that didn't quite add up. And then finally getting into field theory, it starts to explain, what they are and why they're there. You're not, they're not, basically it's a situation of ignorance of being dead. They don't, it's like The Others, right? Someone brought that movie up on one of the live streams here recently, not mine, someone else's. The Others. I used to have that movie where the whole time, Nicole Kidman is thinking she's seeing ghosts, but it turns out in the end, she's the ghost. She didn't realize she was dead. And that's really what's going on with a lot of them. Probably not all of them, but a lot of them. Is they haven't moved on and dissipated because they think they're still alive. But and if at this point, because I haven't been willing to try these things until now, but it's still illegal. I'm not willing to risk legal problems to try these substances. So unless I run across a mushroom. Occasionally I go out and get edibles and eat anyway. So if I run across something, who knows, might decide, but to give it a whirl. But anyway, that's from my understanding of reading these kinds of reading materials on it, on this subject for a long, long time. If you want to know what it'll be like when you're dead, when you separate from your body, you can get a taste of that by trying 5-MeO DMT. In DMT gets you close, but 5-MeO DMT like totally knocks your individually gone. It's gone. You become the universe again. You're connected to all signals in the universe again. Do you have the munchies? I believe people experience weird stuff, says Joe. Jen says broad spectrum has trace CBD. Full spectrum does not, but it has more terpenes and proteins that help the nerves. Okay. Broad spectrum. So broad spectrum isn't as good as full spectrum. I'm not sure what the difference is here. Mr. Lee says Lockbeard, a hazelnut whisper bar Easter egg. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it's probably a candy egg, a chocolate egg or something, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Like you might have the same issue because with me, like if I eat a bunch of carbs, you know, blood sugar like drops off after about 45 minutes or so. And like if I'm driving or something or sitting, like it's really difficult for me to stay awake. Like it's a life and death struggle to stay awake. I pulled over on the highway and just went to sleep because I can't. It's not possible for me to force myself to stay awake. So, and I know that. So I just pull over and and just surrender to diabetic coma. And so I just can't drive if I've done that. But nowadays I hardly ever do that. At least not too much. Yeah, actually, I think they do use that stuff to help people with withdrawals. Mr. Lee says, I want to know everything, just saying. Me too, Mr. Lee. Western New York says, licking, smoking, or injecting toad slime. None of that sounds fun, LB. Well, there may be a different way to source 5-MeO-DMT. I'm not sure if they can just synthesize it. But at any rate, that's the only source I'm aware of. In DMT is like it's in everything. It's in your body. It's in everything. It's just that it's usually in low enough. It's just usually low, too low to send you on a little journey. Cindy says, I have a drug contract with my primary doctor, so I just can't take something. And a neurosurgeon did say that I take the CDB to be close to my bed. It will knock me out. How do you know it's quality though? How do you know? It's the same issue with every damn supplement out there. They say, oh, we got this much in there, and then they don't actually have to do it because nobody's making them. They can say they got 10% of something, but they might have nowhere near that because no one's forcing them and checking on them. And I know they're supposed to do this whole third party testing thing, but how do you know the third party isn't in on it? Scamming you. You can. Peyote is another one, but it won't take you the full. It won't take because different ones seem to fiddle with the dial a little differently. Based on people's descriptions and all that stuff, they're slightly different chemistry, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, you what people call your spirit is just the signals. It's just signals in the ether that permeate the entire universe. You're tuned in. Your radio in here is tuned in to your station, the Joe station. Although it's not that is not really Joe, but and it seems like, and normally you got this biochemical isolation. It's like you're just tuned to a certain. You're not just picking up all the signal. Like it's just like on a radio. You're not picking up all the signals. You're only picking up, a certain station. Because if you pick up all the signals, you're not going to be able to understand anything. It's going to be a big garbled mess. You got to be tuned in to something pretty specific, and that's what your brain does. But when you take these psychedelics, different ones kind of fiddle with that chemical tuning mechanism, and they jack with it in different ways. So you're going to get a slightly different experience from one type to another. Mescaline and psilocybin, the mushrooms, and ayahuasca, which is just NMDMT that has been made orally active. Because normally you have to smoke and inject in DMT, regular DMT, but in ayahuasca, it's got there's two plants in there. One is high in the DMT, and the other one has an MAO inhibitor, which is it's just because if you eat it, your stomach acid destroys this DMT, and this stuff prevents it from happening. Is what it does. However, everyone says that ayahuasca is just this nasty brew, and a lot of people throw up or even shit themselves when they go through that. So I don't know if it's worth it to do that. Jen says broad spectrum has priest THC, trace THC. The full spectrum does not. Okay, because earlier you said CBD. You said, yeah. I think you said trace CBD. I was like, what? Well, that don't sound good. So, full spectrum should not have trace because I don't want any THC. This says full spectrum on it, so I must have done right. It does have more picking up of the terpenes and other stuff that help the nerve endings. Cool. Cindy says, Donald, I'm going to use it for pain, and I'm hoping to take less opiates, if not stop them altogether. I don't know. He didn't say he tried it. Yeah, you gotta edit your comments before you. Don't trust that talks to text. Grasshopper says, who you are when you take that stuff is what you'll experience. So be sure of who you are before you do it. Joe says, yes, Mr. Lee, back in my younger days. Yep. Thanks for the spoiler, Lockie. The spoiler? What spoiler? Grasshopper says, if you have psych problems before you take that stuff, you'll see bad stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but it can also help you with psych problems. Like they're doing experiments with mushrooms, for people with PTSD and stuff like that. They did one deal, which it wasn't real hard science, but it had some interesting results where prisoners who had one experience with mushrooms were way less likely to ever commit a violent crime again. And of course, they probably don't know why. I think, I can't say for sure it's this, but I think it's because when you start fiddling with the dial and you kind of realize for a brief moment on some level, maybe you don't realize it fully consciously, just somewhere subconsciously, you realize we're all one. We're all one. Like there's one. I call it the universal consciousness. It's all this. It's all the instant. You've heard of instantaneous uh, action at a distance, right? Einstein called it spooky for a reason because he can't explain that shit. Okay, there's no limit. There's in his universe there's supposed to be a speed limit on shit, and yet we can see damn well there's no speed limit on shit with the spooky action at a distance. That's why he called it spooky, because he couldn't explain it. Now Ken Wheeler explains it just the fuck fine. Field theory explains it just fine. Quantum physics, on the other hand, can't explain shit right. Anyway, so you got this medium called the ether. Through all the signals are traveling in this ether. That's the medium through which they travel. Like a wave travels through water, waves and energy and frequencies, they travel through the ether. But there's no limit. There's no speed limit. There's instantaneous as well as non-instantaneous. But what you have is a neural network on an infinite cosmic scale. So, there's only really one consciousness in the universe, and you are just a tiny isolated piece of it for a brief time in your meat puppet. When you die, you'll remember all that, but right now, in order to have an individual, I don't really know why this whole thing exists, but I think it's to have an individual experience. Everything's new. I kind of wonder if the universal consciousness is just fucking bored. And it can only way to have new experiences is to do this shit. Is like to take a piece of you, isolate it over here, and then allow it to have a unique individual, experience, just completely ignorant of anything. You can't remember that you're part of the universal consciousness. So anyway, so we're all part of that. We're all one thing. And I think these psychedelics kind of make a person kind of realize it a little bit, that we're all part of each other. And so they're less likely to want to hurt anyone else. It's like if I hurt them, it's like hurting myself. Jen says, anyway, full spectrum CBD is more calming and helps with the anxiety side of things. I hope so. I can't fucking function. I'm amazing. I'm amazed I do this shit. But I got the whole damn internet between me and you guys, so I'm fine. If I'm doing my normal thing in familiar places, and I'm pretty good, but if I'm in unfamiliar places and going on vacation isn't that big of a deal because it's on my own fucking terms, I would go where I want, when I want, and do what the fuck I want. And it's when I'm stuck in places I don't want to be that the shit just gets, I can't fucking deal with it. If I'm someplace I didn't want to be in the first place, I can't fucking deal with people, man. I can't. Joe, I would like to try peyote, says Mr. Lee. Cindy says, I never tried shrooms because I want to take something I have control over. Well, mushrooms are probably better. I mean, you're gonna have more. You're gonna be better off doing that than DMT. DMT is kind of a little bit next level. especially 5-MeO2. There's probably no psychedelic substance that's going to surpass that, because apparently it completely opens up all signals for a short time. It's a very short time. It don't last long. But you could potentially experience have a billion years of experience in that 15 minutes, but you won't remember it when you come back. I mean, it's like if you just turned on all stations on your radio at once in your car. You're just going to hear this freaking roar, and you're not going to be able to pick anything out hardly. Donald says, Cindy, my doctor wants me on marijuana, but I can't afford the pricing at the dispensary. I will die an opiate addict because that's what my prescription coverage covers. Have you tried using Kratom, by the way? Because apparently a lot of people have gotten that have used that to help them get clean, get unaddicted off of opiates, and then you can use the Kratom for painkiller. You get there's different varieties of Kratom, so you got to make sure you get the right one that's made for pain killing. But anyway, it can help you get unaddicted if you haven't tried it already. So maybe you can use it in conjunction with the CBD oil, because if the CBD oil helps with withdrawals, and like they say, then you might have a better chance, That being said, I do not like Kratom. It upsets my stomach, and if I take too much of it, I feel, some kind of high, I guess, but I don't care for it. I was using it for energy, actually. I was just trying to beat my energy issues. Like, it's like a struggle to get up every morning. And it helped some, but it's just, it had this other stuff going on I don't want, like, can I trust that I am able to, operate a forklift or something when I'm using this stuff? And I wasn't convinced of that, so I stopped using it. Like I says, once I'm dead, I won't give a shit about truth. Well, and that's absolutely true, because you're no longer isolated in this body, and you have reconnected to the rest of the universe, and you already know everything. You know the truth. You know everything. You're all information available in the universe. You will have access to at that point. Grasshopper says, control over what you experience is way more difficult than you can imagine. Start with tiny doses of anything. I'm from the Timothy Leary days of experimenting with acid, very, very slowly. Mr. Lee says, Donald, my man G can get something for you, I bet. Your man G? Donald, can you just grow it, man? Well, then you'd be smoking. Or are you talking about you're talking about the CBD oil? I mean, he could grow it, but then he's not got the oil isolated, so now he's gonna be getting high. And if he don't want to smoke stuff, I know I don't want to smoke anything. That whole idea is just doesn't sound fun to me at all. How anyone's just sits there and just inhales cigarettes is just beyond me. Yeah, if you're getting tested for your job. Sandra said, I don't think shrooms are the way to go. Mr. Lee, yeah. After eating sugar, I pass out LOCKBEARD. Very weird. Yeah, so you're possibly experiencing the same thing. So your body, when you get sugar, your body wants to bring it down, produces insulin. So what I think's happening is the body's overreacting and then dropping the sugar too fast, and then it drops too low, and then you got to pass out. Like, have you been testing your blood sugar? Because mine, the lowest reading I ever remember having was 53, which is getting pretty dangerously low. Joe says, Sanders rooms when I was younger was fun a few times, and I could find them everywhere. Cindy says, Donald, yeah, the dispenser prices are high here too, but my primary doctor is totally against medical pot, so I don't know if he will okay the CBD oil, and it doesn't have THC, so hopefully he okays it. Well, if he doesn't okay it, like, I don't know. From what I've seen, it's it's a pretty much a done deal. It's a separate thing from medical marijuana. It's its own thing. It's perfectly legit. The science is coming in, and so if I had a doctor that wasn't hearing it with CBD oil at this point, I think I would be looking for a new doctor, because that doctor has shown me he's not willing to think outside your standard pharmaceutical box. And I don't like that, because, as Donald's saying here, he's they're addicting him to opiates. It's and if me and Mr. Lee go to a doctor and they want to treat us, I mean, half the treatments make the disease worse. Like, people who are getting insulin injections, that's making the diabetes worse over time. You fix the symptoms right now, but you didn't fix the disease. You made the disease worse over time. When the best thing they could do is just stop eating carbs. Period. Just forget the drugs. Just stop eating carbs. If they could just do that. But they won't. The doctor won't say, I prescribe that you eat an all-meat diet like LOCKBEARD tells people they should do. Even though I don't follow it strictly like I should. But faced with getting injections or taking some crazy pharmaceuticals, man, probably need to just stop eating the carbs. Scotty says, I want a Hunter S. Thompson diet of cocaine and other niceties. Donald says, no. Icon probably could, but that weed they got now kicks me in the ass. Not really a big fan of the feeling. Yeah, it's like with everything, they keep breeding stuff that they're like, well, if this weed is good, then stronger weed ought to be better. And maybe, maybe don't fuck with nature too much. Maybe nature had it the way it was supposed to be. Like, sometimes we breed all kinds of stuff to be weird shapes of, like a Pekingese dog. We bred a wolf into a Pekingese dog. Now, if you take a Pekingese dog and you put it out in the woods, what's going to happen is it's going to get hung up in some briar somewhere, and it's just going to be sitting ducks for some coyotes to eat. And that's it. And that thing completely cannot fucking live in the wild. It's totally dependent on mankind to survive. It couldn't catch prey, and it would probably just get all that hair hung up on something and just die. Jen says broad spectrum is good for pain. Full spectrum, no THC, is good for relaxation and anxieties. Both are very good. If you're worried about buildup of THC, job, etc., full spectrum is the way to go. Icon says most tests can't differentiate between standard pot and hemp CBD. There is a lab in Colorado that can get the proper testing done to the tune of $564. They need to stop with that. Don't come to work drunk and don't come to work high. How about they just do that and call it good? If they can't detect that you are impaired, then maybe they just need to leave you alone. Scotty says, my sister grows her own. Her best body stone ever, doesn't really destroy the inner skull. Huh? Jay Fritz is here. Welcome. Sandy says, Joe, when I was young, I did shrooms for a good time too. Not for me now. Mindset is different, and so is my health. Jen says CBD makes you that tired that fast. You're taking too high of a dose. Who said they get tired? Since I had an aide that her whole family took acid and all kinds of drugs. I had to get a different aide after 4 months. All she talked about was their drug use. Huh. Icon says, Donald, it's all in what you grow and how you grow it. You want classic landrace strain that predates all the cross and inbreeding. Joe says, yeah, Poet, took me somewhere all right. At the end, I was naked in a desert talking to a lizard. Well, I mean, what else you got to do? Talking to lizards is cool, man. Mr. Lee says, my radio different to everyone else. Tune in, man. Sydney said, I will need to be getting exact doses if I get the CBD before I try it. I don't know what 1 milliliter in this dropper, whatever that equals. So, yeah, I don't know if that's meaningful number at all, though. Bucket list item for you. Talk to a lizard naked in the desert. Scotty says that's true. Till generation, all the crops, every generation is different. Different fertile soil, blood, bone, bug sprays, everything is altered. Icon says to Joe, you're lucky my legs jumped off my body, ran out the door, and got hit by a car. I was grieved. Damn. Cindy says, Joe, what did the lizard say? Jen says, Lockbird, if you can find Koi CBD brand, they have no THC blend. It's great for everything. Being a bigger guy, you may want to start with 500 milligrams to a milliliter. Well, that's what I was trying to figure out what's in this. Like it says, original CBD hemp organics full spectrum, 600 milligrams, cannabinol infused tincture with terpenes. So if I'm to assume that one full dropper is got 600 milligrams in it, then maybe I took 600 milligrams. I moved up somewhere it works for me and I don't need much. You also set your doorstep with the RSO2, like here's wheelchair thing. It's all in the input. Check in with her and Jen. Lockbeard, time to get stoned, man. I don't want to get stoned, Mr. Lee. I don't want to do that. Scotty says, absolutely, mate. They're all great, but the older ones are where I'm at. CBD class, yeah. She is. Gotta roll with it, brother. Sexy teacher. Taking it for years. Joe says, have you ever wondered where I got the saying, don't sweat the petty stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff? Man, how far behind am I? This pain is nerve endings in my neck and down my back. Think you know now. Scotty says, I'm just tripping over the effing thing getting into your studio icon. Grasshopper says, Lock, if you have good guidance during the experience, you can benefit, but recreational shrooms PO, just for hell of it, can be dangerous. Yeah, I have no interest in recreational use. It would be exploratory in nature. So, you know, I agree with geez, well, I started reading this guy's stuff 20 years ago, and I'm losing the name right now. Paul Stamets. I agree with him that people should not use it for partying at all. That it is not just people hallucinating. There's something way more profound going on, and they should use it for exploring, exploratory purposes, not as a party drug and just fooling around. You need to look for what you're learning while you're on a broader set of signals. So Mr. Lee says, yeah, we are all one. Yes. Jen's a closet stoner. The edibles. Promising a bigger door. The ether is real, man. Yeah. Scotty says, I appreciate that icon. Fuck yeah, I need a bigger door, smaller feet. Meat puppet. Horse feathers. I am the universe. Meat sack muggles. Yeah, muggles. My experience must frustrate the ether, says Grass. Jen says, Cindy, when you're new to it, get low and see can always move up the strength if needed. Unless you shrink and then you put When you put it in the dryer, I'll work on the door. Ether, yes. Yes, that dirty word that mainstream science does not want to admit exists. Sandra says yes. What Jen said, Cindy. Hot air makes for expansion. Icon door definitely needs adjustment. Joe says an object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest until influenced by an outside source, something or another. Yeah, yeah. Cindy says, "Okay, Jen, I'm very responsible with my meds, so." Icon says, yes, let's load Achaeos up with LSD and let him lose at Carnival. What? Used to know stuff. Mr. Lee says, I'm coming for a big holiday time in your van, Lockbeard. I don't know exactly what that means, Mr. Lee. Best way to go. Like I said, hot air causes expansion. I thought it was Christmas cookies. Yeah. Jen said I tried kratom after 4 days and had chest pain. I put it away after that. Scotty says shit drops in the heat where I am, buddy. It was tragic on my hips. I wouldn't need a belt. Keto for energy every time, man, says Mr. Lee. Yeah, I did stay pretty keto today. I've been hitting Golden Corral buffet because there's a wide selection of just meat that you can eat. There's a lot of stuff to be tempted by there, but like on Saturdays, like I can get there about 10:30. Breakfast ends at 11, so I can get bacon and eggs and stuff like that, and some other different sausages. And then when lunch kicks in, they start serving some steak on Saturday, and they usually have some pork chops that are pretty decent. And another good thing about buffet is there's a whole pan of pork chops, so I can pick the one with the most fat on it. Yeah, whereas opposed to just ordering a plate somewhere, you get whatever they bring you. You're not going to be it. So I've been able to find a couple pork chops in there that was half the damn thing was fat. Literally half of it was fat, and it was awesome. But so it helps. So I can eat, just eat however much I want. But I do notice, like you can definitely tell. Like if I eat carbs, then I'll want to eat more. But if I'm eating meat, I'm pretty much, I get full quick because it's proper diet. Cindy says, Jen, send the fast, take 3 pain pills a day. That's the limit. Scotty says, what do you do though, Lucky? Salad kill tofu. Man, that is a 4-letter word up in here, tofu. Donald says, never seen kratom, Lockbeard. Never seen kratom? Yeah, you might want to look into kratom. You definitely, Donald, if you don't know about kratom, you need to look into kratom. I used to order it from a website called, I think it was Greenleaf Kratom. Or you're going to have to check, see if it's legal in your state, though, because then you might have to go to the next state. Well, a lot of times you can get it at a gas station, or you can get it at the pot shops, of course. Don't try to save money. All right. Donald, for the love of God, do not buy just a package of powder. Because kratom, all it is, it's a they dry out the leaves and grind it up. It's all it is. It's ground up dried leaves from this Asian tree. Because like if I'm taking creatine monohydrate, right? Make your muscles grow. Like I'll just get this just plain creatine monohydrate. I don't get drink mixes because I don't want to mix. I'm tired of mixing drinks and shit. So I can just get a spoon of that, dump it in my mouth, and wash it down with water. Right? That's creatine. That don't hardly have any taste to it at all. That's perfectly fine. There is no way in hell you want to try and do the toss and wash with kratom. Get it in the capsules. Just get it in the capsules. Do not just get a bag of powder and try to toss and wash it. It's absolutely horrendous. It's hydrophobic. It doesn't want to mix the water, so you have these clumps, and it's a disaster. You just take the capsules. Start out small, because if you take too much, like it used to upset my stomach. That was my problem. It would upset my stomach. That was one of the problems anyway. I guess it doesn't do that to everybody. So, and I don't know if maybe taking it with pretty good meal would help, but but people have gotten themselves off the opioids using kratom. And it's spelled KRATOM, I think. Heart problems don't mix. Yeah. Smoke all day, just suffer. 4-letter words, 8. Yeah. 4-letter words. Gonzo and his planet was a pipe fitter. Oh, how do you use CBD? I stopped smoking last May. I take CBD meds. Scotty says, sorry, I'll stop swearing. And I'll watch my language around you, Ike. Yeah, those are some 4-letter words right there. Take 3 a day. Pipe layer with all those chickens. Mint plumber. This release says, doctor is rubbish. Icon says, now brains, remember, no one likes a shit. Wait, have to mind my P's around the girls. No one likes a what? A shit. What are you talking about? Dosed. I get kickback from the farm companies. Yeah, and that's it. The pharmaceutical companies, they're not going, because people taking less pharmaceuticals as a result of CBD oil use. Different device apparently can't type. Naughty 4-letter words. Kale, tofu, keto. Now, keto is not a naughty 4-letter word. It's a good 4-letter word. Like shit and fuck. My apologies, Miss. You've been blabbering since it got back. Good evening. Yeah, tofu, man. Don't eat tofu. Okay, I could forgive kale, but tofu. If you eat tofu, you just became a soy boy. Shit. Joe says Big Pharma needs your pain. That's how they profit. Your pain equals profit. Yep. Keto, yeah, but not using them as swears towards Ike. It's a way of life, not a diet. Yeah. just not eating carbs, or go full carnivore and just eat like your ancestors. All right, there you are. There you are, standing in the Paleolithic. You got a spear in your hand. You don't know shit about plowing fields, and you think it's a stupid idea anyway. Why in the fuck would I want to waste time plowing up a field and waiting for shit to grow and having to stay in one place instead of moving around? Or I could just follow around these herds of 160 species of megafauna. I got a wide variety of shit to choose from. There's a couple different versions of giant hairy elephants. There's giant woolly rhinoceros. There's big fucking bears. There's a number of species of giant ground sloths. There's giant armadillos. There's giant beavers. And I can kill all this shit with my spear and eat today. Why in the fuck would I want to plow field? You just eat like your ancestor would in the Paleolithic, the way they did for hundreds of thousands of years. You just kill something and eat it. Don't need fire. Don't need to cook it. Just eat the damn thing raw, because that's how they did it. So yeah, it's a way of life. It's beyond diet. It's a way you eat like a predator is supposed to eat. You're a hunter. It's kind of hard to do that now because most of our prey is dead and everything's fenced off, and the government wants to charge you to feed yourself by hunting. And it's just really hard. You can't just walk out and kill some shit. It's not that straightforward, hardly. But can barely eat. My metabolism deteriorated. Fucking surgery changes the body's map. Donald says, Joe, they started me with the 12-hour pain med with breakthrough to go with it. Big Pharma pain management kickbacks. Yeah. Keto for you then. Yep. Donald says, with zero mention of how addicted my body would get to these medicines. They didn't bring it up at all? Like, seriously? You would think it'd be like, that would be one of the first things. Okay, here's a list of side effects. The big one is you could get addicted to this shit. Wouldn't that be medical malpractice at this point? You should go, if you get addicted, you should be able to take this bitch to court and say, hey, he never said, dude, you are almost certainly going to be an addict after taking this shit. Which is exactly what the fuck he should have said. Yourself in the hand with a hammer, you'll forget all about that ankle. Oh, the major pain method. This really says, all I know is the potato is poison. Sanders says, I'm not going to sit and be in pain 24/7, so what I need to help I can take, period. Yes, grab a 16-pounder. Mr. Icon says, a kissing cousin of Nightshade. Yeah, all that shit's potatoes is a member of the Nightshade family. As is tomato, bell peppers, all that shit. They're all part of the Nightshade family. I'm forgetting a big one. Eggplant. They're all part of the Nightshade family. Poison to you. Potato is the best, says Scotty. Yeah, I used to eat the shit out of potatoes, but I'm pretty much over it. Like, occasionally I'll have a little bit, but there's too much carbs in them anyway. Head on a branch. MRA. So one dropper, because it has different measurements on the dropper, Jen. It's it's got the top measurement's 1 milliliter, but you can measure out 0.25, 0.5, and 0.75. Had to take a look. Potatoes, tomatoes, pepper. Yeah, well, you got it right there. Yep. Yep. I should have just read on. I walked in the woods today. Whooped. Someone whooped me back. It was not Sasquatch. Yeah, because there's no Squatch in England, Mr. Lee. That's why you need to do. That's why you need to take the job of British Bigfoot reporter on Moog's channel, because all you gotta do is come on and say no sightings this week. It's real quick. Don't need it. Could have been Dog Man. Scotty's just falling down a mountain, tripping over a rock, all part of the fun. $3 for one sweet potato. What the hell? Seeing birds and stars. Bugs Bunny. Joe says, this has been fun, folks. Don't forget to stroke that like button for Lockbeard before you leave. Hope to see you all soon. Peace and good night. See you later, Joe. Thanks for coming, man. I don't know how far behind in chat I am, but hopefully not too bad. Looks like it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. How far the fuck behind am I? Holy shit. Get over the cliff. You did wood knocks, no result there. To cut out cherries too, due to the cyanide content. Yeah, it's not ideal to eat them. Forgotten more than you've learned. Yeah, I feel like that about some stuff. You don't knock. I've eaten fruit for ages, no sir. Golden Corral. Mid-South, welcome. I'm way behind on chat, I know. Four eggs. Jay loves the Golden Corral. Mr. Lee says, I eat 4 eggs a day and plenty of bacon, man. Great place for a single dude. Yeah. Fat on meat, that's flavor. Yeah. Sugar and fruit you avoid. Yeah. They closed all your Golden Corrals? That's just bullshit right there. Gas prices. This is the last buffet chain left in existence. Is what? There ain't no other ones? I mean, there's always the Chinese buffets, I guess, but just a straight up like just American or variety food buffet. What the hell? Yeah. No, Texas channel? No. No. They're way down the woo train over there. I think the Golden Corral have reopened. Ponderosas and Bonanzas in Ohio, I think their home state. Text sacked me, so I will not be going on that show anytime soon. Telling you, man. Yeah, Mr. Lee, who normally he seems like someone that was just happy all the time. He was pissed off. Mr. Lee was pissed the fuck off. He's way out of character. And just welcome to the club of people banned from Texas chat, Mr. Lee. Which is no great loss, because there's just a lot of bullshit over there. You're not going to find the truth over there. You're just going to find them telling people what they want to hear over there. That's it. So Going crowds will never eat my money's worth. Well, you know. Mr. Lee's about to sack me. So Tex is about to sack you. I think you'd already be sacked over there. Icon says, Mr. Lee, I'm the same for the most part. Every once in a while, I get a full fruit craving. Cherries, or berries. Cold turkey, sweat it out. Start a club. Golden Corral's open. Do you like figs? Good chance withdrawals would kill you. And sweat sitting in my recliner. No, it's a buffet restaurant chain. Scotty says, oh, that's not quite on the thought train I was riding, Cindy. Just confused about what those were. Oh, that's not the fruit I haven't had in years. Quite tasty. 197 now, less than I was in high school. That's not a viable replacement for Pondo. Addicted to daily dids. Jeez. Mother Nature's chiropractics. Okay. It's a long time to be on drugs like that, man. Cindy says you wouldn't be Lockbeard. You wouldn't if you was sick and didn't go see the cave doctor. Then that cave woman would have to do it all. Huh? I'm not entirely sure what that meant. Show me that, but my farts would be bad though. No, I mean gas seems to be a thing of the past, pretty much. Like people get gas, I think largely because they're eating stuff that doesn't properly digest. So there's this indigestible stuff getting eaten up by microbes in your lower gut, and they make gases. And so then you got gas because you're eating stuff you're really not supposed to eat. And now you can't hunt because you bust a fart and scare the game off. Been drug free for everything for a year now. Pray for you and a few others. Have chatted every day at night. Thank you, Sandra. Hey, my fucking master's carrying truck. Minutes out says I had to give everything to God, and He has given me the grace to not go back to that life. Pondo. Scotty says Joe Biden is the best president. Not funny, Scott. Scott Trick. Donald says zero mention of addiction. Doctors who got me started are all dead by now. Damn. Maybe everybody needs to get together and sue the entire industry. I don't know if that's possible, but so look, they've been addicting us to shit when we know we got these other options out here. I'm trying, Mr. Lee. You guys are chatting like what mad? I'm gonna have to skip over some stuff, I guess. That mom says, "I thought you were dead, Lockbeard." Oh, you didn't think I was dead, did you? You just now getting back up in here? Where am I at? There we go. Scotty says, "Ooh, BA strain, 16% increase positious. Same vaccine for the new strain." Channel title that said "Dead Bigfoot NDAs and blacklisted." What's the hell's an NDA? Non-disclosure agreement. It's a pain in the ass legal thing. Yeah. Mr. Lee says, "Lockbird, tell me about waves." What do you want to know about waves? There's big ones, there's little ones. There's all kinds of waves. There's probably infinite waves. There's longitudinal, there's transverse. You know, like I think I was trying to show you all that one time. Like, you know, Ken shows this. I think I'll be able to do shit here. You know, where a wave goes like this, you know, that normal wave pattern you see. Well, it takes time for that to travel, for that to move, you know, through the medium. But the other type of wave, which some people call scalar waves, but it's really not a wave. But anyway, it's a wave of energy transmitting across the ether without the time component necessity. There is no time component. When something, it's like a stiff rod. If it's initiated over on one end, it pushes or pulls instantaneously. The other end moves instantaneously, and that's where you get your instantaneous action at a distance, your spooky action, as Einstein's dumbass said. About all the prehistoric animals you would devour. So I made a caveman comment that you would be sick and not see the cave doctor. So that means cave woman would TCOB. The cave woman would TC. What's TCOB? I'm still trying to decipher here. Central Florida Bigfoot's here. Welcome, Matt. Says, "What's up, folks? What's conservation?" Well, we were talking about you know, water memory, and how it could be potentially the explanation of the mechanism behind things like holy water, and cursed springs and cursed lakes and stuff like that. Miss House says, "Oh, okay. I thought it might have been non-dead aliens." Although, Matt, we've gotten way off. We're off. I mean, someone's bringing up Peter Kane here. Peter's Kane, if you go to his live streams, man, he's an asshole. He is a goddamn asshole. Holy shit. I don't ever want to go back. He's an asshole. Apology video evidence you took care of your bad juju. which has been from A to Z tonight. Yeah. Far from why I don't remember. Yeah. Well, I mean, everything's related to everything else. Down the meander some. There's no test. Icon says lucky bugger that has that horny one locked up his barn. Yeah, that Bigfoot penis is remarkable. Yeah. Yeah, he's anyone. I don't know how anyone believed that he was actually legit, like a legit. He's obviously joking. Take care of business. I'm cleaning up from the last campout studio. It was a mess. Says CFB. Failed? What? There's no such thing as failure. Scotty says, I love how the Squatch head is 3 times bigger than it needs to be on his bench. Peter Kane is a big douchebag lately. Yes, says Mr. Lee. Lately? You saying he didn't used to be douchebaggy? Because he's a douchebag now. That's for damn sure. Fucking asshole, man. Male Squatch don't care what gender you are. If it's horny, you better run like hell. Taking care of business. Gotcha. All right. Bat Mom says, who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? So for some reason they brought up Peter Kane. Who he's just a joker. He's just a comedian. Like, well, on his channel, he's a dog training channel, but for some reason he also does some Bigfoot joke videos. So he says, too bad, wants to know what's going on. This whole MO is taking the piss in the Bigfoot community. Yeah, he's obviously just joking. He's not trying to pull off a hoax. He's just a comedian. Oh, you never heard of him? Well, clearly I need to introduce you to him properly. Well, it'll take me just give me a second here. We need to get the proper, which is the best video. Which one? Yeah. Let's see if I can get this going. I don't think I can play too much of it, but
away from her, you know?
I think I got this shared up. Hold on a second. Yeah, here we go.
Right? She is. She's being a real. Listen to her. I mean, it just doesn't stop. I was giving her food earlier and some Sasquatch essentials that she will need, and she kind of spit at me, and then picked up some crap off the ground and threw it at me. I don't know what it was. They could have been feces. I just closed the door and got the fuck out of there. So she doesn't really want to be interacted with today, and that's fine because she's on the rag. And guys, you know how it is. The old lady gets on the rag, get away from her. When they start bleeding, they become bitchy, and that's what we have here. She hasn't wanted to come out or do anything today, and I'm not going to make her. There was somebody that was asking, like, what about her going to the bathroom? That was a good question, and I have a pile of sawdust in the corner that she can go over there and, do whatever. And then I'm going to take the sawdust and throw it in my garden. But she really hasn't wanted to come out too much. She's eating. But as soon as she's off the rag, she needs to go to fucking work. Seriously, you gotta do some work around here. Oh shit, here, she wants to come out. Those are bloody corn cobs. That's what Sasquatch and Bigfoot use for tampons. So she has more corn cobs in there. Those are the bloody ones. I need to go get rid of those. Sasquatch has to use something for tampons, and that's what they use is corn. They also use pine cones to wipe their ass with. It's a well-known fact. You can call Cornell and talk to the Bigfoot and Sasquatch expert, Dr. Dirk Johnstonson. That's how I found this out. He's the one that told me about tampons for the bleeding Sasquatch. When they start their menstrual cycle, you better have a lot of ears of corn around because they bleed like a stuck pig. I mean, look at this. All that blood in there. It's all soaked up into the fucking corn cobs. It's disgusting. Sasquatch blood, Sasquatch DNA. Maybe these ears of corn are worth something. That's what it's about with the Sasquatch. I want to make some fucking money off of this fucking animal. Sasquatch have their period every 2 months, unlike a human that has it monthly. So every 2 months I have to stock up on corn. I don't know what the bucket's ruined. This will be the blood bucket from now on. It will. We'll just use this for the Sasquatch to put her bloody corn cobs in. Every 2 months I got to stock up on ears of corn.
Yeah, you get the picture. There aren't much more amusing things in this world outside of arguments pertaining to the size of Bigfoot's dong. Yeah, says Icon. The new news. Yes, I know that's right. Let the Sasquatch squirrels go. Seth, you're not missing anything. True thirst, Scotty. Lockbeard, Peter Kane is a good dog trainer, though, telling you. I have no doubt of that. He's just an asshole, though. I can find a fuck to give anywhere. Oh, no. Mr. Peter Kane yesterday at Joe's. Lucky. So it's on you, pal. That's why I brought it up. Was I the first one to bring that up? I don't know. Maybe I did. Scotty, brother from down under. Mr. Lee says Peter Kane gets angry too much. Not sure why. Maybe he hasn't had a blowjob. Well, he's got that Sasquatch in the barn there. Apparently he can go out to the creek bed and get rode by a Sasquatch, and if he needs some action, he knows where to get some. Yeah, he's just joking. He's not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I mean, anyone that watches this and actually thinks he's trying to hoax people, he's not trying to hoax people. He's a comedian. But he's also an asshole. Scotty says, you reckon a BG would solve all his problems? Poor guy's probably married for starters. Dude's good. I couldn't keep a straight face through all that. Could be cool if he's got cornholed by a horny Sasquatch. Poker face, seen the fuck out of Peter's wicked. He's a desperate loser. Damn. Yeah, he's just a comedian. If he ain't going in there to get a V job, get out of my way. What the hell? I don't know. You might want to wait till she's done bleeding, Icon. I don't know if you want to go in there. Yeah, what's another good one he did? Jeez. Here we go.
My doctor told me I should always come back here to conquer my fear. So that about it, I feel like I'm getting better. But every time I think about it, I get upset. There's enough to worry about in this world. We have the coronavirus. We have a pandemic. I tried calling the police and tell them about this, and they tell me they don't want to hear about it, that they're dealing with a pandemic, and they don't believe me, and it happened. It happened. I didn't want to do it. She made me do it. It wasn't my choice. It was all biological. It was so horrible. Is the Sasquatch coming back to get me? I don't want it to come back, Marty. I don't want it to come back, Marty. I wake up every night with that stink on me. I can't get rid of it. It's horrible. I brush my teeth and I gargle all the time, and I still can't get that taste out of my mouth. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. And one of the worst parts of it is she bothered my brown eye. She did. She touched it a couple times. I don't want to be gay. Does that mean I'm gay? I don't want to be gay. This is the exact spot where it happened. It's fucking horrible. I didn't want to do it. She made me. I come back here and I relive it all the time. My doctor wants me to come back here. It's not helping. It's making it worse. It's making it worse. She gave me a number. They eat poison ivy. I got it on my weed and my scrotum. It's horrible. If you look real hard, you can see where my hands were digging into the fucking soil. I was grabbing rocks. I was going to hit her, I swear. Trying to get away. She stopped me. She pulled my leg and dragged me back. And started giving me a number again. She's got my baby, I think. What am I going to do? What am I going to do, Marty? She raped me. I didn't want to do it. Worst part of it was I didn't know if the poison ivy was an STD. I couldn't go to the doctor. I still might have it. What am I going to do? I didn't like doing it. She made me. She made me. You're going to be sorry what you did to Peter Kane, Sasquatch. I want my baby if you have it. I don't care. I don't care if it's all hairy. I'll love it like.
Oh my gosh. Couldn't do it to a camera without losing it. The nub. Keeping people in a barn will get a person years in prison. Sasquatch will bite it off. Skinny Hulk, Peter Kane, excellent. Tinfoil hat says enough. Makes you laugh so much, though. He's a deadpan, funny man, just lightens the scene. Oh my god, the foam moved and it has eyes. What? He ate Sasquatch beaver. Yeah, dude's good. Peter, you douchebag. You're crying, get out of the way. Apparently, Icon's just ready to jump on that female Squatch. Yeah, I thought everybody knew about Peter Kane, Matt. I thought for sure, but here's the funny thing: like we see this and we can tell he's obviously just joking. He's not trying to pull the wool over people's eyes and think this is a serious Sasquatch encounter where he got raped and she by the Sasquatch and she made him do her twice in that creek bed. He's obviously not trying to pull, hoax, but there are people out there who actually believe he's legit and that these pieces of Sasquatch that he has, like one day he had the Bigfoot penis and balls out and he hooked a battery to it to force it to ejaculate so he could collect a sample, which he planned on using to impregnate pregnant or human women. Playing song you having me, baby. Sasquatch. Oh man. You gotta give him that. Yeah. I laughed myself to tears with the rag video when I first saw it. Oh man. Good one. Gotta remember that one. Some Peter stuff. So damn funny. I don't know any names in particular. Hopefully, if it's everyone who watches his entire, like if they only see certain isolated videos, that's a problem. They don't go and watch the rest of the video because some like this is pretty damn obvious he's joking. I would think to pretty much everybody. There might be a few morons out there that think this is real. I don't know. But some of his videos are less obvious about it. Icon says Kane needs to come out with me to video pertain icing on the cake. Yeah. Yeah, I think Scotty says the fucking head. The Squatch would have to be 30 feet tall to support it. I like the guy that beats the drum and does a similar thing. We should check out his live chat sometimes to see who buys his act. Well, I mean, it's mostly Mr. Lee. I think Mr. Lee spent more time in his chats than I have. I don't go over there. Like, he's a dog training channel is what he is, but I guess he does this Bigfoot stuff on the side for fun or whatever. So, let me see here. How about the hand? Find one that's less obvious. Here we go. Maybe this one.
When my father shot the Bigfoot in 1953, they had to cut them up to get them out of the swamp. They were too big, so they started cutting them up. This is one of the body parts. It's a hand from a young Bigfoot. And I want to be perfectly clear, this is a science documentary. And if you have a squeamish stomach, you might want to turn the camera off right now. Okay? I want to be perfectly clear. I don't want to freak anybody out. If I was going to make a cooking video making goat's head soup, I would have a goat's head, right? Would that be a problem for you? If it would, turn this off. Now, we're not going to cook this item. This is a Bigfoot hand, but it has some properties, the Bigfoot does, that other animals on this planet do not. And I'm talking in regards to the hands and feet. Now, the hands and feet have more of this property than other parts of the body, but the whole body does. And my father talked about this, was that when they had two boats. They had one that was wooden, one that was metal. They said when they put it in the metal boat, it was harder to move the body parts, that they seemed like they weighed more. So this is going to be shocking. So I'm going to show you the hand right now. Okay? And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Please turn off this video if you're squeamish. Okay? So this is a hand of a young juvenile Bigfoot. It's been frozen. I took it out of the freezer. You can see the hand clearly. Still has congealed frozen blood on it. Notice the fingernails. I don't know if you can tell, but they're translucent like a human's. See the skin, the palm. Look at the dermal ridges. It's totally real. I'm president of the Bigfoot community because I wouldn't lie to you. This is real. These are real, and I do think that they are alien in origin. Now I'm gonna show you why it doesn't make any sense to me. And when my father talked about this, it didn't make any sense. So watch this. This is a demonstration. Like I said, this is a science documentary. Now for this demonstration, I have a shovel. This is just a normal shovel, right? And I have the Bigfoot hand. Watch this. It's magnetic, and so is its feet. But in general, the whole body is magnetic, but nothing like the hands and feet are.
All right, that's enough of that. Anyway, if you want to see a bunch of bullshit, funny stuff, he's done on Bigfoot. He's just spoofing it, being a comedian. Ran over a Muppet. So is CFB still here? Is he gonna be live tonight, or are we running over on him? Doesn't look like it. The Ravens Outpost is on right now. UFO Man is on right now. Looks like he's talking to Lou Elizondo, the former director of Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. So if you want to look at you want to see some UFO stuff, you might go over there. I don't know what Raven's talking about. Raven's Outpost talking about, but that's live. Looks like the Lost Cryptids Conservatory is scheduled for tonight at 10:05 my time, which is a little over an hour away. So if you guys want to go over there and see that, take a look at the guide real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I guess Central Florida. I guess Matt's not on right now. Yeah, creepy little book at 10, but I don't think you guys are watching that. Paranormal Portal, which I don't recommend myself, but maybe some of you watch that at 9, which is in a few minutes. Spaced Out Radio, lots of woo over there. Talking Weird is supposed to be on in 2 hours or so. But yeah, UFO Man's on right now. You might be able to catch the end of it. UFO Man and Raven's Outpost. So, geez, the freaking chat jumped on me. Poor Fozzie. No live, you just editing. Cool. Should be on next Saturday with a completed film. Awesome. Well, is it gonna be? I guess it'd be 9 o'clock your time. We'll definitely be off. We'll be definitely wrap her up by then. Pretty good since 1953. Bet it's freezer burnt though. To finish up some things, go head off. Good night. See you later, Cindy. I am getting a little wanting a snack. I mean, I had the buffet today, so I filled up, you know, on a bunch of meat and stuff. But I thought I'd give these a try. Made by Quest. It could be lower, but this entire bag has the total carbs of this entire bag is 17 grams. It's made out of a protein blend, like a milk protein isolate, whey protein isolate. It's like the main ingredients. So I might have that, Mr. Lee, and then I might have one or two of these. It's not the same as Reese's, but anymore Reese's aren't that appetizing themselves. So anyway, so these are not. I think I showed you. Like I got a different brand last time. I think it was. I had that other stuff. Wasn't as good. So I might try those things. Where's Timmy Boy? Well, I don't know where Timmy Boy is. I mean, Timmy Boy needs to show up, damn it, because I got this. I got that for him. All right, God bless. Good night. Good night. Yeah, I don't know where Timmy Boy's at. 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. 2 a.m. for you, Mr. Lee, I believe. Central Florida Bigfoot gonna have a movie, it sounds like. Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming, Matt. We'll see you. Like I said, had these Reese's eggs just are not what they used to be. So yeah, let's wrap her up.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Lockbeard every day. Mr. Lee, hey. How about 5 days a week one of these days? I mean, it takes, time. We got to prepare a lot of stuff sometimes. Trying to get a new intro fixed for Phenomena right now. But I need more time for it. I'm not doing Panzoid like that. The intro I have on these shows are all done on Panzoid, and it has its limitations. It just does. there was a pain in the ass with converting the files. Like I had to convert the files twice. Anyway, it was just a pain in the ass. So I'm just not gonna. I'm not using Panzoid in the future going forward. Although I'm going to put a short section of the existing intro in a small window at a certain point in the new intro. But anyway. Where's this, Ruthie? Found all kinds of keto stuff at Big Lots, fat bombs, meat bars, sugar-free peanut butter. On naturism yet? Is that what you want? You want naturism? I gave the invitation, brother. He declined yesterday. It was a great day for him. Today, it's family problems in the way, if it makes sense. Nieces and pieces. What the hell? All right, y'all. Thanks for coming. And I'll see you next time.